Okay, ladies and gentlemen, last week, last session, we discussed about the Buddhist philosophy and a little bit about Buddhist philosophy, why we should follow Lord Buddha's doctrine, and here on out, we'll discuss a little bit further what benefit we get, why we should follow some doctrine, why Lord Buddha's doctrine, uh, Lord Buddha's philosophy. Last week, we talked about we have options. We, for example, when we go to a restaurant, we have options. Same as that, I selected to live in this way, having robe with bald headed. That is customary, not mandatory, but the world theory, the basic philosophy. How you born to this world? What happened to you? This thing that Lord Buddha has explained very well. We should understand. We have right to understand that. No one forced me to shave my head. The choices that I have made for the same reason that I have decided to understand and live Buddhist philosophy. That is the same reason why we do anything, everything in this life for the happiness. Eventually, we look for happiness. So I ask you to remain with us and open minded and listen to this and try to understand. It's quite difficult to translate to English because Lord Buddha's uh, sermons in Pali, different language. So, anyway, to learn about all the options that are available to them as they go through life, happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment, it is a duty that we all have to ourselves so that when we have lived, gone through life, we can look back at our life and say, and a full life. It would be a real shame, don't you think, that at the end of our life, if we were to look back and then feel that perhaps one more thing that I have done that I couldn't done, one small turn I could have done, then I would have been happier. Don't you think so? So, I have been a monk just for 2 years, and before that, I lived lay life like you did in my lay life. Also, one thing I wanted was happiness, and to achieve that, I have done almost everything. All of the all of the thing that I mentioned, usually the common run of men they do for the happiness. I tried going places, earning money, doing a job, having a family, trying out different things, adventure, all sorts. And then, when I was introduced to Buddhist philosophy, I realized this is what I have been missing in my life. And so I made a conscious choice to learn more, to study more about Buddhist philosophy. And then eventually, one day I decided this is what I should do in the rest of my life. That day may or may not come for you. And as I said earlier, it is not my intention to force you down any pathway in life. I have no intention to do that. All I intend to do as part of these talks is to make you aware of options, choices, because something that I do know, I'm sure you will agree with me, is as I said in earlier, we do everything for one purpose, that is happiness, true happiness. Why Buddhism? Is for that reason. Why should you listen to these talks? It is for that reason. Happiness, ultimate happiness. For example, if the restaurant open, you probably go and try out because you want to see what are the options that you have. If a new fashion store were to open in town, you probably go and at least window shop to see what they have to offer. Most weekends, probably looking for an opportunity, some interesting, perhaps to go on holiday, and then you go on a website and find out some of the good places, some places you can go on holiday, all for the purpose of achieving happiness, satisfaction, and fulfillment. Trying out something new for the purpose of achieving fulfillment and satisfaction is nothing new to you. It is something we all do regularly on a daily basis. If there's something new, we always try out and see. And so, therefore, for the same reason, I would like to introduce to you Buddhist philosophy, as I believe that this is a very strong option that you should all be aware of. Every human being should be aware of as they make these choices to be happy. That is why Buddhist philosophy. What is Buddhist philosophy then? Most of you, when you think about Buddhism, and also think back to some of the things that you already know about Buddhism. Well, I'm sure Buddhism deals a great amount with suffering. Doesn't the Buddha talk about suffering? Some people even they think always he talk about suffering, nothing else. So it may be some people uh, they they're reluctant about their choices. They don't feel the to even consider listen to Buddhist talks from their own because they feel that is if it is happiness that seek in my life, why should I listen to principle, set of principles or philosophy that deals wholly suffering? That's a very, very, very valid question. You see, the Buddha did talk about suffering. He did, yes, understand. But what really interesting is immediately afterward, he talked about suffering, and he then went on to talk about cause of suffering. He then said, if you eradicate the cause of suffering, then suffering will be permanently eradicated. And then he showed us the path to eradicating the cause of suffering. So it is not like he said, it's all suffering, it's all not so. Quite the opposite. He talked about suffering and then he talked about how we can work to end the suffering. So, for someone to believe that Buddhism is all about suffering, I'm not sure that is true. That is wrong because that is only one quarter of it. What really interesting is he talked about suffering and how he explained to us suffering can be brought to an end. It may be that most people are not aware of it, and that's okay because that is what we, yeah, that is the reason. Now, if we are interested in happiness, should we all also interested in aware of suffering? Yes. Well, as much as we like to be happy, there are of course things in life. There are things in our life that are unhappy. That is normal. There are factors that steal our happiness. There are ups and downs in our life. That could be very fair to say all we experience happiness in life. You and I fully aware of it. There are happiness and unhappiness that you have experienced that. So, what if you could completely get rid of things that you make unhappy? Or rather, what if unhappiness can be completely removed from your life? Wouldn't that be ideal? Let's not jump in too soon into the conclusion whether it's possible or not, but hypothetically, if that were possible and if that was an option, would you not consider it? What is, yeah, then what can be done? Yeah, what can be done to make you happy forever? You never get unhappiness into your life. Okay, let's talk about this in the next sessions of the sermon. And because I'm very sure that this is very quite heavy, if I talk about Lord Buddha's this doctrine for about 1 hour or more than that, then I decided to bring you as small sessions so that you can shallow, you can adapt, you can adhere. There answer, right?